So for this exercise, you're going to go through and re-look at the camera demo. This is the exposure demo that's on the homepage. And then once you've described defined what aperture is and what shutter speed is and how you would use it, then we're going to use the camera simulator. Now with this camera simulator, what you're going to be doing is this. I'm going to give you several different lighting situations. So for example, on this first one, we're going to change the camera simulator to manual priority, and you're going to figure out how would you do shallow depth of field. Now you don't have to write out a paragraph for this. You're going to fill the information in here. So here's an example. First thing you're going to do is you're going to set up the lighting situation based on what I'm telling you here. So this first one is going to be sunny. Then you're going to figure out what is the distance, the focal length, the ISO, the aperture, and the shutter speed that were used to create a good exposure. So with this, you'll open up the camera simulator. That's this piece. I'm going to go ahead and switch it to manual mode for this first one. And I'm going to change the lighting condition. The lighting condition up here shows, are you inside? Are you outside? Is it overcast, meaning cloudy, really cloudy, mostly sunny, or completely sunny? The distance will determine how far away things are, which will help to figure out what you want to have in focus and what you don't. The focal length is how much you're zooming. So either zoomed all the way out, or you're zoomed in as far as this lens will go, which happens to be 55. Then this is where you'll be able to change your ISO, your aperture, and your shutter speed, and whether you're using a tripod or not. Tripods are great for use in low light situations or if you really want to stop movement. So what you'll do is in each situation, it's going to ask you to do something slightly different. So like right here, it's saying shallow depth of field. So the first thing you need to know is what is shallow depth of field? That'll be the first piece. And then you'll figure out, well, how would I set that up? So for example, I'm just going to go ahead and drop this way down here. Now notice here's the light meter. This is letting me know a good exposure is going to have the blinking line right here in the center or pretty close to the center. Right now it's way over here. It's in the plus side. What that means is it's going to be overexposed. If it's under, it'll be underexposed. So basically too bright or too dark. So if I snap the photo now, really, really washed out. Now it actually tells you what's happening, and it's giving you some tips on what to try out, like maybe doing a lower ISO or a smaller aperture or a faster shutter speed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back to here. It's sunny, so I'm going to have my ISO set low. I'm going to set my aperture low because that's going to blur more of the background. And now I'm going to crank this thing up a little bit more. Stop. There we go. Wow, it is sticky. That part's not changing this, so I'm going to snap the picture. Slightly overexposed. So I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to get this. Wow, it definitely is sticking when I move my mouse out here. That's as high as my shutter will go. That's going to be annoying. It looks like when you slide, you have to click to establish that you're done. That one's slightly overexposed. I'm okay with that. If it's within a quarter of a stop, which is just one piece here, I think that's okay. So in each situation, you're going to go through and decide I want it to be partly, and then you'll type in the number here. So you'll come back to your simulator and go, that was at 2.5 meters. I think this was at 55 focal length. So you would type in 2.5 meters. This was at a certain focal length. This was at ISO 100. This was set for aperture was f 2.8. f 2.8. Not type. 2.8, and the shutter speed was 1/4000th of a second. 1/4000th of a second. So essentially, when I say describe how you would achieve it, this is the description. So then you'll repeat this same process for the partly cloudy. And then here, it's a new situation. It's saying you want deep depth of field. So you have to know what that means, set your conditions, and go through until you can get a proper exposure. Same thing here. Then on manual priority, this one is probably the trickiest one, trying to get the overcast to work and freezing the subject. Deep depth of field. And then there's some exposure questions to answer at the end. So that is what you will be doing for the camera simulator.